So there's still a little bit that I wanted to our cards controller before we move on. Now that's to add this add delivery method. So go in there and on line 112 add define add delivery method. So this method is something that I'll talk about at a later point. I'm just adding it here for completeness sake, but it has to do with our delivery feature that we're going to add at a later date. So session delivery method, we'll set that to nil here, and session delivery method equals params delivery mode, and then render nothing true. So all this delivery method does is it just takes whatever is in the delivery method and it resets it to nil, and then it adds the params that we have that'll be passed in through delivery mode. So we'll talk about that more when we talk about deliveries. Other than that, I just wanted to leave that here for completeness sake. And I want us to hop on over to our delete product from session and add the dot checkouts, because if you look in the view for this file, this will have a checkouts class. Actually, if you go to inspect element, you can see that one of its classes checkouts. So if we refresh the page now, it should turn white, and get rid of the underline, which now looks like a proper button. So that's it for carts. So the next thing we want to do is we want to jump into orders, and specifically TRX orders controller. Now, the first thing we want to do is we want to add our before actions, and our before actions are things that I've already talked about in the previous videos, and they're pretty much saying to check this action for all of these functions that we have. So if you are still confused about it, then I really highly suggest you to go back to the previous videos and take a once over. Other than that, let's add in those functions, and these functions are things that we have also already seen, so I'm not going to describe them once again. So let's do a private, and we'll just paste in sign in users, and user has role in company. So these two functions are nothing new. So the last thing I want to talk about before we end this video, make it a short video actually, is this protect from forgery note. So every time we fill out a form and submit it, it will come with an authenticity token to make sure that there is no cross-site scripting involved. So because in this controller we're going to be handling payments, and specifically we're going to be using webhooks. For webhooks, the thing about them is that they can't possibly know what our token is, so we have to disable that features for this controller. So when we are using our hooks controller, which we will talk about in a later video, we would have to exclude that from this protect from forgery for authenticating the tokens that are passed in when we submit forms or submit any information through the server. That's because we're going to be using Stripe. So we're going to talk more about that at a later point. Other than that, I'm just going to leave it here and call it a day. Please rate, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed these videos, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.